Good morning, students.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, ma'am.
Are you able to hear me? Okay. So, good morning, students. I hope that yesterday's topics were clear to you. Did you go through yesterday? If you read the topic on a day-to-day basis, then it would be easy for you during exams and to understand the subject on the whole. So please go through it. Today's topic is shift micro operations. Shift micro operations are those operations in which you shift the bits either to left or to right. When you shift the bits to left, it is called as left shift operation. When you shift the bits to right, it is called as right shift operation. It is like transferring the data, okay, from one position to another position. Dear students, please mute your audio, all of you. Okay, so in this we will look at three different kinds of shift micro operations: logical shift, circular shift, and arithmetic shift. Each of these types can be left or right. Logical shift, it is denoted by SH, means logical shift. L means left, logical left shift. R means logical right shift. So what happens in logical shift is you are transferring 0 through serial input. You transfer 0 and then you move the bits to left in left shift and to right in right shift. The difference between logical shift and circular shift is, in circular shift you are circulating the bits. Dharani, please mute your audio.
Yes, ma'am.
Please mute your
Okay.
audio. Okay, students, when you are shifting, one position will become blank, empty. Why one position will become empty? I will try here to use a pen. Okay, if it is 1 0 1 1, then what happens when you are shifting to left? When you are shifting to left, this bit position 0 will the value in this bit position 0 will be transferred to bit position 1. So you get here you get 1 0 1 1. No, this one will be sent as output. Okay, this last one will be sent as output, and here you transfer an input. Which input you are transferring? You are transferring 0. Did you understand what happens? You are moving this bit to left, and then at this place you are inputting a value 0. This is shift logical shift left. In logical shift right, what happens? Suppose if you have 1 0 1 1, you move the bits to right. How you move the bits to right? This will be empty. Here 1, this will be 0, this will be 1, and this one will be sent out as output. That's this last one. And what happens at this position? You are inserting a serial input 0. Okay, you are inserting serial input 0. This is logical shift micro operation, and it is denoted like this. Register R1.
It's similar to left shift and right shift operators in programming languages. Am I right, ma'am?
Exactly. But here we are studying with respect to circuits. How can we implement this circuit? Means this operation in a circuit, in hardware. That whatever you are talking about, that is at a higher level in programming language. By using operators you do. Left shift and right shift operators are there. You do using operators. But in this topic, you are going to study how to build a circuit to perform at a very low level, at a hardware level. You are studying now these operations, but it is same. So then logical is clear to you. Next next circular. In circular, what happens? Here you are transferring 0, and here you are transferring 0, and here you are transferring 0. Instead of transferring 0, what you do is you circulate the bits around the two ends. Means what happens? You move this one here, and this last whatever should go out as output is given again back as input. That is circular. Last to first, it will be connected in a circle form. So here, instead of transferring 0, you transfer whatever is the value that is going out. So it is 1. So 1 will be given as input. Here also, if you see this one is going out as output. So it is because circular connected. So this again goes back as input this side. So this one here, nothing. So this is circular shift. It is also called as rotate operation. So what happens in circular shift is okay. Next, how do you denote circular shift? Circular shift is denoted by CIL, and the circular shift right is denoted by CIR. CIL means left circular shift. CIR means right circular shift. And then you have arithmetic shift. The third type of shift operation is arithmetic shift. In arithmetic shift, what happens is you preserve the sign of a number in arithmetic shift, and it is denoted by ASHL. A means arithmetic. Arithmetic shift left, and this is arithmetic shift right. What happened in this? If you remember, how do you denote a negative number? You denote a negative number by having 1 as the MSB value. What is MSB value? This is MSB value. So if you know that this is MSB and this one will be LSB. So if you have a 1 here, it means that it is a negative number. What happens in arithmetic shift operation is, after shifting, you check if this number, if you are performing a right shift operation, when this number changes its position from the most MSB to next most MSB, what value you have to insert at this place is, it is same as whatever value was there before shifting. If it was 1 before shifting, so the value to be inserted at that position should be 1, because after shifting also you should preserve the sign of a number. And also what happens in arithmetic shift operation is, if you perform a if you perform left shift operation, it is like multiplying a signed binary number by 2. And if you perform arithmetic shift right operation, it is like dividing the number by 2. How this is possible? I urge you all to please work out on a number. If you don't get it, I'll explain you tomorrow, because if you work out, you will better understand. What happens is, when you perform left shift, it is like multiplication. When you perform right shift, it is like division. Take one example and then it is shown in this figure 4.11 that r minus 1, r of n minus 1, r subscript of n minus 1 value is preserved, because if it is, because that is a sign bit. If it is 1, the next after shifting also you have to insert 1 only at that position. Please work out so that you will get a clear idea. Then the focus of our this organization subject is that building circuits, understanding how you can combine gates and other elementary level components into higher level circuits. So we have to implement or realize the operations, shift operations through this circuit. In this, there are 4 multiplexer, means it can perform shift operations on a 4-bit number. And what is the number symbol A? A denotes some number. It can be 1011, 1001, or 0110. So this is 0th bit, 1st bit, 2nd bit, 3rd bit of a number whose length is 4 bits. And then you have a serial input, and then you have a serial input for this left shift and serial input for right shift. This is in this circuit. In one circuit, you are implementing both the operations, left and right. So if you look at this function table, what happens in this is, when the select input line is 0, because multiplexer operation is decided by select input lines. Select input line will determine at one particular time what operation multiplexer will perform, what will be its output. So when S is 0, then what happens is it performs right shift. So when you perform right shift, this output is denoted by H0, H1, H2, H3. So this whatever value A0 was here, because you're doing right shift, it moves to at first position. 0 value is moved to first position, and you are performing a serial input at this position, 0th position. And then first value will be moved to second position, and second bit will be moved to third position. This is when S is 0. This circuit will behave like a right shift operator. When S is 1, it is like left shift. Left shift means what happens? The bit A3 bit will go to H2 position. It is going to left, and then you are providing a input, serial input at H3 position, which is IL. Did you understand this? If you have any doubt, please ask me. Students, chat.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In chat, you can put the query if you have any query. Did you get this 4-bit combinational shifter circuit?
Yes, we did, ma'am.
All? Okay. So what is happening here? See, select input line, you know, multiplexer, S, 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 select input lines. And then these are A0. A0 is giving, you are giving to H1. Why? Because you are performing this right shift operation. Okay, please go through. Then next, arithmetic logic shift unit. Where do you find arithmetic logic shift unit in a computer system? Can anyone let me know where do we find it?
In CPU.
Very good. In CPU, you have ALU, arithmetic and logic unit. So what does arithmetic and logic unit does in CPU? It performs arithmetic operations. We saw one circuit that performs addition, subtraction, using 2's complement, using 1's complement, increment, decrement. We saw one circuit. And then we saw logical micro operations, one part of a circuit, not the complete one, just one part for one bit. We saw how it can implement AND operations, OR operations, NOT operations, XOR operations. And then we saw uh, shift micro operations, how we can realize in the form of a circuit using multiplexers. Now what are you doing? These three are different components. One performs arithmetic micro operations, another performs logic micro operations, third one performs this shift micro operations. In CPU, you combine all these units and components into a one large part of CPU, which is ALU, arithmetic and logic unit. In ALU, you have all these. You have one stage of arithmetic circuit, one stage of logic circuit. They are combined together by using a multiplexer, and then you have select input lines. This is just one stage of ALU. It is not a complete ALU. If you understand one part of it, then you can develop a full ALU unit. So in this ALU unit, you have arithmetic circuit, you have logic circuit, you have some inputs given. Why it is one unit? Look at this, AI, BI means just one bit of AI and another bit from BI. So I can be, if it is 0, if I is 0, 0th bit of A and 0th bit of B. We are passing as input. And then uh, based on the select input lines, the operation will be decided in this. And then you also have shift right and shift left, logical shift right and logical shift left, that you are directly giving to this multiplexer. So this multiplexer is getting input from arithmetic circuit, logic circuit, right shift circuit and left shift circuit. So based on the select lines, here select lines are there. Here you have S3 and S2 select lines for this multiplexer. This multiplexer, based on the values of select input line, chooses any one operation that is to be performed on these 2 bits and gives the result. Is ALU unit clear to you, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Somewhat, little bit.
Please, you can chat with me. You can send, even if you not comfortable talking, you can send message in the group, chat group, so that I can get the information. Okay, can we go ahead with the next topic?
Yes, ma'am, for sure.
Okay. So the next topic is, okay, please go through this function table for ALU. You see here, there are 4 select input lines, S0, S1, S2, S3, and there is a carry input. And based on these selection input combinations, you are performing certain operation. It is decided by this. If all are zeros, then output is same as A. It is like transfer A. Where is the output? This F. F is the output. And A is input. So if all are zeros, all means this carry C, I, S0, S1, S2, S3, all are zeros means here you get same values as that of A. Then if carry input is 1 and all selection input lines hold a value of 0, then you are performing an increment operation. You are adding 1 to the A register. Likewise, you perform addition, carry, subtraction, all logical operations and shift operations. Okay, so this is all about ALU, arithmetic and logic unit. Next, we will start another chapter, basic computer organization and design. In this, we will look at how computer stores the operation, the data in the memory, and how computer performs operations on the data. If you look at this figure, this denotes the memory. Hypothetically, we are taking the size of memory as 4096 by 16. How much is 4096? Can anyone tell me? Means 2 to the power of how much is 4096?
2 to the power of 40. Not 40.
4, ma'am. 4.
Not 4.
2 to the power of 10 is 1024.
1 GB is equal to 1 GB.
It's 4 times.
Ma'am,
So,
1 GB is equal to 1024.
1 GB.
1024 is 2 power 10. And it's
right, very good. 1024 is 2 power 10. From that point, you have to start, right?
2 part.
Yes.
1024 is 2 power 10. Remember this always. So
Yes,
then what happens is from that
12,
2 power 12. Very good. So 2 power 12
yes,
means 12, it can hold how many elements? 4096 element of size 16. Okay, means each block storage RAM is divided into individual blocks. Okay, so each one is of size 16, and always remember that the upper part of memory stores the instructions. Instructions means the program operations, what we want the program to compute, and operate, the lower part stores the data. Data means operands. For example, if you are performing arithmetic micro operations, if you say C out, enter the value for A and B, C in A and B, whatever value you enter for A and B, those are operands. Then you say C is equals to A plus B. A plus B are operands, and operator is plus, which is addition operation. So this instruction C is equals to A plus B will be stored here at the upper part, and 10 plus 20, 10 and 20, that are the operands, will be stored in the lower part. And this is instruction format. Like when you are writing sentences in English, you have to follow certain format. For example, you have to write article, the boy is running means noun, verb, like that. If you fill a examination form, there also you have a format. You have to write your name, your roll number, which semester and subjects and all that. For everything there will be a format. Likewise, in a computer system, for every instruction there will be a format. What is the format? The format is that it is, first of all, the size is 16 bits, 0 to 15, and the first part of this instruction is the address, which consists of 0 to 12. Just now we saw, no, 2 to the power of 12 is equal to 4096. Means each size of each address is 12 bits. 2 to the power of 12, when you do, you'd get total number of addresses 4096. But the size of each address is 0 to 12 because 12 bits are used. So first part in an instruction is the address. Second part is the operation code. Operation code can be plus, minus, or whatever operation you want to perform. We are studying all this at a very low level. Low level means at the hardware level. At the hardware level means you will have some codes. Like for performing addition, you may have to write 110. When you write programs at a higher level in programming language, there you don't need to know what are the codes, because compiler will convert high level language program into low level language program. But when you are doing microprocessor programming, or programming in assembly language, then what you have to do, you have to know the operation codes also. So the size of operation code is 4 bits, from 12 to 15. This is our instruction format. And what is the format for operand? Operand size is 16 bits, and there is no format, because if the operand value is 10, what do? You convert the 10 into binary form, and you prefix that number with zeros, so that together the size should be equal to 16 bits. If you get 10, 10 means 1, 0, 1, 0. 1, 0, 1, 0 is 10. This is only 4 bits, but the size of operand is 16 bits. So what you have to do? You have to prefix this 1010 with 12 more zeros. Then it will become 16 bit binary number, which denotes decimal number of 10. And there is a very important processor register called accumulator. This accumulator stores intermediate results and also results during computations. There are two kinds of addresses. First is this one. Now you try to understand this figure. This where do you use address? You use address in instruction format. If you remember, just a while ago we studied the format of an instruction. The size of instruction is 16 bits. First 12 bits it stores the address. The last 4 bits stores the um, operation code. So in this, what happens is the address can be direct address or indirect address. Can anyone tell me from the concept of programming language, how can you implement a direct and indirect address? If you know C language, you can tell me.
Call by value and call by reference.
Call by value, call by reference. Yes, that is also, that is also an example of direct address and indirect address. And the main
Pointer.
very good. The main concept is pointer. Primarily, what happens is a pointer stores the address of another variable where you will find the data. So it is like indirect address. If you say a is equals to 10, a is a variable which stores the value 10. A variable is nothing but a memory address. Instead of using memory addresses, which is very tedious process to remember, what you are doing, you are assigning names to the variables. But what happens is when you create a pointer, you are storing the address of a. Then when you go to that address, there you will find the operand. So it is indirect. If you look at here, to denote sign and unsigned number, what is the significant value in a number? It is the MSB bit. If MSB bit is 1, it is a negative number. If MSB bit is 0, it is a positive number. To denote whether a address is direct or indirect, what you do is now you divide the second part of instruction format into 2 parts. Now you make the opcode to have only 3 bits, and the 4th bit is used to denote whether the address is direct or indirect. Means 16 bits of instruction format now have split into 3 parts. The first part is the address, whose size is 12 bits. Second part is the opcode, whose size is 3 bits. Third part is the mode, to denote whether it is direct or indirect, whose size is 1 bit. Now you look at this second part of this figure. This is our memory. And we know that memory will store instructions at the upper part and operands at the lower part. So first address, this here in a direct address, at address 22, this memory address is 22. This 22 has 3 parts. What are the 3 parts? This 0. 0 denotes direct address. ADD means that is the operation. 457 means that is the address. So when you go to 457, you will find the operand value. Then you can perform add operation on this operand value along with some other operand value. Where here it is given. AC. In AC there is one operand, accumulator. So what are you doing? In accumulator you have one operand. Another operand is at memory address 457. And then you are performing add operation. In indirect address, you look at here 300. When you go to 300, you will not get the operand. Instead, you get the address where you can find the operand. So again, you have to go jump from 300 to 1350 to get the operand value. And because it is indirect mode of addressing, the 15th bit in this instruction format is 1. 1 means it is indirect address. Operation performed is add on the operand stored at address 1350 and which is stored at address 300, which is specified in the instruction that you are adding with the contents of accumulator. Accumulator contains one first operand, second operand you get from memory, and then you perform this operation. Okay, this is direct and indirect address. Is everyone clear?
Ma'am, what is that? Ma'am, what is it? 35 and 22, ma'am?
35 and 20. 35 and 22 are also addresses of instruction.
Okay, ma'am.
Address of, because instructions also have address. The entire memory has addresses. How many addresses we'll have? Because we are using 12 bits to denote an address, we will get 4096 locations. And
Okay, ma'am.
even instruction will have an address, and operand also will have an address. 22 is the address of
Okay, ma'am.
this instruction. 35
Instruction.
is the 35 is the address of this instruction. And this address part in instruction contains the address of operand. But
Operand.
yes, operand. And this address,
Okay, ma'am.
we will as we move along, you will study where this address, instruction address, will be stored. Even instruction address will be stored at some place. In program counter register, you store the instruction address, then you load the instruction, then you execute the instruction. All that we will study as we go along. So is this concept clear? Demonstration of direct and indirect address. All of you students, any doubt, please ask. Okay, now we will consider a basic computer.
Where is it applicable, ma'am?
Where is it applicable?
Where
This
is the
application of this is in programming languages. In programming languages. For example, if you say int a is equal to 10, then what happens?
Okay.
That a may be 457 in direct address mode. A may be 457. Instead of 457, you are assigning, do you know the concept of variable? Variable is nothing but a name given to a memory location.
Yes, ma'am.
You know it? So instead of referring
Yes, ma'am.
this memory location with 457, you are calling it A. So what do you do? If you say C is equals to A plus B, it is this part 450. Instead of 457, you write A here, right? In
Yes,
programming language, in high level languages, you write A. You say A plus B. You don't say 457 plus something else. So the application,
Yeah,
the application of this is
Yes,
that this at hardware level, you have to know all this. When you write assembly language programs for 8051 microcontroller, microprocessor, have you heard about microcontroller and microprocessors? In that you have to write code using these you have to write program using the codes, not like variables and high level language features. So you need to know about all this, and this is the implementation of programming language. Programming language is a high level abstraction. At the lowest level, all these things will be happening. When you create a pointer, what happens? Int star p is equals to ampersand a. So what happens? Now a is 1350, p is 300, and you are referring to p. You can say star p plus 1 also you can say, or star p plus star q also you can say. Means you can perform addition using pointers. It is possible. So that also you can at low level specify using addresses instead of variable names. Naresh, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
A little bit.
So we are talking about machine level.
Yes,
at a very low
exactly.
machine level.
Exactly. We are talking at a very low level, at hardware level, machine level language, assembly level language. Okay, students, this is allowing only for 40 minutes. So in 1 minute, it will get disconnected. So for 1 minute, I will explain you this registers, and then we will continue tomorrow. Please go through whatever we are studying, so that if you get doubt, you can ask me tomorrow. So these addresses, we are considering one basic computer, and then these are the registers, and these are their sizes, and these are the functions. Please go through this table 5.1, and again see you tomorrow. It will get disconnected now. Okay, time has up. So students, all
Thank
the
you,
best.
ma'am.
Please study. Okay, bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
Naresh. Tell me,
Some
Naresh.
couldn't attend today because of unobvious reasons, ma'am. Well, Harsha has subscribed to a online e-learning website, and its trail ends this week, so he couldn't attend today. So he's up with the e-learning classes,
Hmm.
and another few has internet problems, so they couldn't attend as well.